Right, coaches, welcome back. Let's give a round of applause here. We've got Jimmy Lenihan, Titans assistant coach.
It was a bit of a... I coached a bit. Probably got my first job at Q Cup level really young. I probably was, I can't remember now, maybe 40, not quite, maybe 30 something. And then Stoney left, jumped into Queensland Cup. He sort of pushed me in to do a bit of Queensland Cup coaching, so I did that. And I wasn't long after playing with a lot of blokes that I was coaching them. And I thought I knew everything about rugby league because I knew rugby league, but not so much about the coaching side of it. And then sort of limped through that for a long time. So that next 4 years was a big learning curve for me. Learned a lot about playing management, talking to blokes, learning to deal with different sort of characters, all that sort of stuff. So, and then pretty much when I took over and Stoney left, change of coaching staff, we went miserable. And we were pretty much miserable from 2004 might have been the last grand final, and hadn't sort of done anything until 2016. So for about 10 years, we were just honestly struggling, and we went through a big swing of good players that came through the club, and then we went through the big patch of mercenaries that came to the club. So certainly the players left, and then you get other players who start coming into the place looking for money or opportunity, and then you're sort of just going with whatever. And then, like I said, a lot of lessons learnt through that time. So after about 4 years there, I ended up walking away. It was sort of just not enjoyable at all. And again, like everyone sort of said tonight, the more things get worse, the more you try and overcoach, the more you're ruining things. So went away, didn't do any football for a year, and then a local club, I don't know if anyone's from the Gold Coast here, but there's a local club called Bellamble, just sort of, it's like a little hillbilly club up in the hills, and it rejuvenated my love for just coaching. Like, they were just a bunch of kids that all lived local to the area. They didn't do too much, they all worked all around the Gold Coast, but they came back to live at Bellamble pretty much, and it's like a little mob, you know, so it was fantastic. I didn't even know where it was. Turned up there, and suddenly, you know, we're training 2 days a week. No one had turned up when I first turned up the train. So everyone thought, you know, we're going to do fitness, do a lot of running. All we did was play fitness games. Didn't tell them it was fitness, just told them it was games. And next thing you know, we went from 6 people for 4 grades on one night to 60 people for 4 grades in about a month. Because everyone just started, the word spread that we're just having fun and playing footy. So just went down there, had no expectation, just started playing footy, made it as fun as possible, because obviously I'm on a hiding to nothing, no one cares. So I went down there and just made footy fun. So footy was great fun, people started turning up, and then because the group's already half close, it was really easy for everyone to stay around and hang around. Next thing you know, I'm going to training at 6 o'clock on a Tuesday, getting home at midnight, because we're having barbecues and people are lighting fires and we're drinking beers all night, and just kept going. And that sort of football for me when I was at Burleigh before that was starting to dweed out. You know, no one sort of hangs around too much anymore. So it started grabbing its own sort of, you know, culture, which I'm sure is still out there with a lot of individual clubs that you're at now. So that year we won the grand final. So it was really good. Stayed there for another year or two, and then Burleigh come knocking on my door again, and Burleigh was still going through that same rat trap of just buying the next 5 best players they could find for the money that they could scrape together. They'd turn up, they'd play, they'd walk away, all that sort of stuff. So it was sort of just the old habits repeating again. And I think that was 2015, that we call it the blackout year that year. Yeah. We got beaten by Townsville by 70. We got beaten by Tweed by 60, Redcliffe by 60. We were just getting smashed. And again, it's embarrassing. You're a Queensland Cup club that was obviously going very well. What's the situation, Jimmy? You're useless. Yeah, right. I understand that. So I knew I was going to get the sack. So I thought, bugger this. I'm not tolerating this anymore. So then I just put a broom through the place, and it's easier now. Obviously, you can't do that with NRL clubs, but we just went through the whole place and said, we don't want you playing here, we don't want you playing here, we don't want you playing here. And then we just went out and actively got people who just wanted to compete. So it wasn't so much now about getting players who were coming for money. It was people who were looking for opportunity to come to the Gold Coast. Obviously, there's a little bit of a link there with the Titans, but we weren't paying, you know, we were really smart in who we tried to get to the club and what types of people we got to the club. And then when we recruited those types of people, we said it was a really important thing to be a part of a place where you had to put in. So it wasn't just a place where you turn up and get your money, do your job, walk out and go away. We do things socially together. Everyone knows everyone's name. I know the bloke who's on the Queensland Cup coach, but I'll know the under-19 reserves name. I'll try and know everyone's name in the club, and it's really important. The people who are highest in the club know that everyone else is in the club. So we made a really big thing of just going around and making sure everyone knew everyone, and there was a connection there. There was a purpose to be at the club, and whether you'd been there for 500 years or for 1 minute, the Burleigh Bears was your club. So there was a connection to try and make sure that you had to go back and feel a part of something. It was your house. So that's what we started with in 16, and we got away with the premiership that year.
You're talking about the players that you bring into Burleigh. Were you looking at good footy players or just generally good people as well?
You certainly got to have good players. We got lucky with good players, but we got a lot of blokes who you could just watch that were energy and effort players. They turned up every week, so it's nothing new. There's the old adage that just because you're skillful doesn't mean you're turning up every day, but if you're a person of genuine character, you'll turn up every week and have a crack for your mates. And then if we make a big deal about that and we reward that with the way we talk, so a lot of times coaching is not about hitting people over the head with a stick, it's always about trying to encourage good behaviour. So we worked really hard on making sure people felt connected, and every time as a coach, it's really important for me to make sure I turn up, and whether I've had the shittest day in the world, I turn up and make everyone feel like they're happy to be there, because I can tell you now, Queensland Cup is the hardest job in the world, because all lower, NRL gets to do what they want, but sleep at night time, wake up in the morning, go to train and have it all done by lunchtime, go home. Queensland Cup blokes wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be a brickies labourer, to rush to work, to get abused by their boss all day, to get rushed to training, to get abused by me, to get to training in time, and then rushes home to get abused by the missus because she's had the kids all day and she's got the shits. So the first thing that happens is you don't want to play football anymore. Well, it's just too hard. So football's got to be enjoyable. You've got to love it. You've got to make it something exciting for them to want to be there. And it's like dinner and a show every night. So I think that's really important for certainly the Queensland Cup level down, to make sure that if you're not having people who are engaged and want to be there, the first thing that stops is football, because work's not going to stop and the missus ain't going to stop. So if you want to keep trying to make sure that that works, you've got to try and make football small bites of pieces. I think at the time everyone else was doing Queensland Cup training like 3-4 times a week. But when we just reduced it all, we went back to 2 days a week. Training and weights would be finished within 2 hours. If you started at 5:30, you are home by 7:30. And if we haven't finished by 7:30, you're going home, because again, if you get home late, the missus is ripping into you, everything turns into shit, and then you don't like coming to training anymore. So if there's anything I can try and help you with at your level of coaching, you don't have to try and shove 10 kilos of shit into a 1 kilo bag, because you're going to have 9 kilos of shit all over the place. And it's hard to clean up. It really is.